Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on where you are tuning in from. My name is Leon. In case you were wondering, you're watching Black Game Pro Sessions. We have another amazing episode today. After me recharging the battery for a few weeks, you know how it goes. I had to take a little break. But we're back again with today's guest, someone who doesn't just talk about change in this industry. She designs it, because Trinidad Hermida Black is a true architect of community and leadership in the global gaming space. As chair of the board for Black in Gaming Foundation, she's focused on building real pathways into leadership, ownership, and long-term impact. Not just access, but what happens after the door opens, which is so important. Some people just think about the door, but what happens when you go through the door? With over a decade in the industry, including her time as Global Head of DEI at Niantic, she's operated at scale, but more importantly, she's made the deliberate shift from working inside systems to actually shaping and stewarding them. She's founder of Big Fest, Black in Gaming Fest, and the Big Awards, honoree, a trusted advisor to studios and leaders navigating growth, culture, and change. But what really stands out to me is her perspective that impact isn't accidental, it is designed. And that real representation isn't just about being seen, it's about having agency. So yeah, especially after a few weeks, I'm really looking forward to be back and to having this conversation with Trinidad. So welcome to Black Game Pro Sessions. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much for your time. How have you been?
Finally a little rested from all the things. Finally a little rested from DICE, from GDC, being here now.
How was GDC 2 weeks ago, right? 2.5 weeks, something like that?
Yeah, it feels like it was yesterday, but definitely it was.
I saw some really cool content from you guys. What's your favorite memory? What's your ultimate memory of this year's GDC, or your main takeaway?
Let me paint a picture. My main takeaway was showing us, so Tuesday, March 10th, seeing all the hard work of Aria, our volunteers, the folks from Big Foundation coming to life. Imagine standing in a room with people who look like you, who are excited, who are gifted, have genius, and they're interacting. There's life. It's vibrant, right? We have indie devs that are there, and they're showcasing their game. We're having networking. We're having headshots taken for folks who don't have LinkedIn headshots.
Yeah, I love that activation. By the way, I saw that. I was like, yes, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Give the people the headshot.
That was actually Aria's idea. I can't take any risk, and anything from that. Just every step of seeing the vision come to life, seeing folks network, seeing folks get their coffee on the cup it says Big Fest on it, and just that life gave me life. And then to end the night with folks who were honored, who were seen, who were acknowledged, and to have a host like Dr. Aisha Brown coming in and just doing what she does best, which is lifting up people and speaking truth to them. And so imagine just at the end of the night, the accumulation of all that. I was in tears. I was literally crying. And I'm just this is why we do what we do. It's literally to create this space so folks want to stay in this industry. Folks know that they're needed in this industry and that they're going to thrive with this community. So that's my little picture.
That's not a little picture. That's an entire scene. But it's a wonderful scene that you created.
I wanted y'all to be there.
Next year I'm going to do my best to be there. It's the last few years I haven't been able to go, but every year I watch the coverage, I see the videos, and I'm like, shit, I should have been there. And indeed, I would have loved to see Aisha host, because I had a conversation with her a few weeks ago on Black Game Pro Sessions as well. She's an amazing human being. So I understand what you're saying. She probably brought that uplifting energy that she does.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah, man. Well, next time I'll be there. for people, but I mean, we're gonna dive a little bit deeper into the work that you're doing with Black in Gaming. But for people that want to find out more, the website, can you remind me of the website so people can have a look?
So we're updating the website, just all y'all. So don't take it and judge us, but the bigfoundation.org. So we're definitely and then also if you want to know about like what we're up to, what's going on, it's linktree.com/blackingaming.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. I'll put it in the chat later so people can have a look. Now, I wanted to go like a little bit back into your origin story, because you've had a very interesting career where you were in corporate world doing amazing things at Niantic, and then decided to do your own thing, or to work on Big Fest, and then as the chair and the founder. How did you get started at Niantic? What was your story into our industry?
So I have a very unique journey into the industry. I was at EMC, which was a big data company in tech, and then EMC got acquired by Dell. So then I was at Dell EMC. That's how they called it after that. I was a product manager, and I hated it. I hated it because at the end of the day, like I really felt like I'm product manager, and this is important. So y'all don't shoot the messenger. I think that there's amazing reasons that we have product managers and all those kind of things. But like my product was data protection. My clients were like Bank of America, Capital One, and I'm just like, great. I have like some of the biggest products. I got really a lot of money. I'm dealing with like big things, but my passion is people. And prior to doing product management, I was a program manager in DEI at EMC. And so I was like, when was the last I sat and I did this like my own like little reflection, and I said, when was the last time I was actually really happy doing what I worked in? And I reflected back to that point. And so I spent the next 6 months like still doing my product manager role, but I started applying to only DEI roles. Like, mind you, I'm getting hit up by like the up and coming like data protection, like I'm being hit up by our competition. So I know like if I take that role, I'm going to get a good job, right? But like I was like, I don't want to stay here, and I'm unhappy. And so I'm literally like applying, and like Waymo hit me up, like, you got all these different things, and I'm just like all these stuff, I'm applying. And when Niantic, I applied to Niantic. So this is what I'm saying. My entry was by literally applying on a website, and they hit me up. And so like I know that there's this understanding that like if you apply and you don't know someone, you're not going to get in. Well, I'm an outlier. I got in, and I didn't know anybody. And so I went into the interview and met with all senior leadership. It was amazing. And I think the biggest like kind of like fun fact was with my interview with the CEO, I came in dressed to a T. I'm from born in New York, born in Nueva York. You know what I mean? Like I'm South Bronx. Like I'm dressed to a T with like my heels. My mom taught me how to go to interviews, right? Hair slicked back, like whatever. I think I had leopard heels on. I was just like, and John came into the room, and I was supposed to give him a presentation, and he comes in like socks with flip flops, like, and I'm just like typical, like, Silicon Valley. And I did the presentation, and after we were done, I just said, one thing, John, is I'm never going to be like you. I'm never going to come to work with socks and flip flops. And he started laughing, and I said, no, I that's the beauty of who I am. Like, I bring a different framework, a different point of view, a different way of looking at things. And so entered into working at Niantic. And so, and I loved it because I was able to build something there. It wasn't there before. I was the first. And so that was
how did you navigate that and being the first? I mean, like also in the game industry, like first foray into this world. How did you navigate that?
I was created for this. So I knew that like I knew that I had a different framework than most people because I worked in this space prior, but then went on to the business side. So I also understood the money maker. And so having both perspectives of not just an HR perspective but also the business side, I really wanted to integrate those two. So like I'm a big advocate for business resource groups, not ERGs. Employee resource groups are great, but business resource groups with the different backgrounds will actually help the bottom line of the company. And so then it's not a cost anymore. We're actually providing something to the business. So that was fun. And that's something that I focused on building there. And when I got into the industry, I realized I knew nobody, right? I didn't know anybody. And so coming in, I wanted to, so fun fact, I was a missionary before back in the day. I did mission work in Europe and and it was fun. But one thing that they teach you as a missionary is you don't know where you're going, you need to research. You need to know what their culture is, how they think, what they eat. And what's funny is when I went to do mission work in Italy, I was a vegan at the time. So, and one of the things I realized is if you go into a family's home and they're opening up their home, they're going to probably buy something that they see as like decadent for you to show you that they care. And so it's going to be, it's not that deep, but it is like, I had to make sure that if they put meat on my plate, like I was going to eat it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
we have to mentally prepare for that. Yep.
I had to mentally prepare for that. And so why I say that is that when I came into the industry, I was like, I don't know what I don't know. And I want to learn what is the culture here? Who's here? I want to know where my people at. I want to sound the alarm, and so I reached out to Carl Bernardo, who was the executive director of Black in Gaming. And I asked him for a list. I said, I don't know who I don't know. Who do I need to know? And it was a comprehensive list of all these folks. And he's like, reach out to them, get to know them. And literally some of those folks on that list are my ride or dies to this day. So I give a shout out to Carl for opening that door for me.
I mean, he showed you the door. You had to walk through it. I mean, how did you pitch yourself? How do you even start with that?
I had to just I researched each and every person on the list. I know I sound like a crazy person, but I literally
you sounded thorough.
I went through every person. I'm like, okay, this is their background. This is what they like. And so I was like, I tailored my request of meeting with them. I said, hey, I'd like to talk to you for 15 minutes. I see your extensive background. Boom, boom, boom. I'm really interested in why you're still here, what you want to see in the future, and if there's anything I can do to help.
Who was the first person that came back to you at that time?
Travis Williams.
Yes, legend in the industry.
Travis Williams. I mean, did D&D, worked for Avatar, worked at Disney. Like, he was the first one who reached out to me, and to this day, I call him Big Papa. He's like my Big Papa. Like, he's like my mentor. Like, and so I'm just grateful for him giving me the 411. But then also like he pushed it along in the sense like every person that I met with, I'm like, is there anybody else you think I should meet with? And they would always so it was like this forever list of folks. And so even to this day, I still ask people like, is there anybody that I should be meeting that I don't know? And honestly, that's how I met Aria, who created Scout. I was like, who's hot in these streets? And they're like, if you don't know her, you need to know her. And I honestly, I don't know what my life would be without her, because she's a gift to the industry and a gift to me.
Yeah, she's such a nice person. She started showing up for Black Game Pro sessions, like one of the first sessions, and we started chatting, and I started finding out more about her and the work that she's doing, the work that you guys are doing as well. And yeah, she's amazing. She's amazing. I think she will be one of the guests coming up pretty soon as well in the next few months.
Oh,
so I would love to hear her story as well.
I'd be remiss if you don't. Yeah.
All right. So if you would have to give your, and I know it's probably difficult, but your Mount Rushmore of Black people in gaming, Who were like? I mean, you mentioned Travis. You mentioned Carl, Arya. I mean, she's still coming up.
Mount Rushmore, that's a hard one. I mean, because like I think like the Mike Quan Smith, Jerry Lawson. Like, I mean, if you think Mount Rushmore, like
yeah, okay, fair enough.
Today,
yeah.
If you want to talk about people who I still kick it with today, that's a different story. So like, I just
Okay, let's say you're part of that Mount Rushmore as well. Who's next to you?
See, this is hard because you have Gordon Bellamy who's still here in these streets, still thriving, still flourishing,
still laughing, still having a great time, it seems.
And that's a blessing. So let me back you up 2 seconds. So this is actually a conversation that I've been having a lot about with senior leaders in the industry that are still there. And I was talking to Travis, I was talking to Davina, I was talking to Shanae T. Bryant, I was talking to Dr. Aisha, I was talking to Gordon. I said, who's next?
Mm-hmm.
Who's next? Like, and I noticed a gap. I noticed that there's like a 15-year gap, and like sometimes even more, of folks who have the caliber of information that they have in their head and the knowledge that they have. Yeah. And I was just like, who's got next? So when you talk about like folks, we obviously have the folks who were able to pave the way with. We have the Jerry Lawson, the Mike Consmith, we have the Travises, we have the Marcus Matthews, the Marcus Montgomerys, the Lisette Montgomerys, like you have the Raymonds. Like, these are folks who like are in the game doing these things. Mm-hmm. Like I see it, like, and it's not just about age, but I feel like an age gap and a knowledge gap, and that's something that I'm really praying and trying to work on in this season of what does it take for us to shorten that gap.
Mm-hmm. It's about visibility. It's I've had these conversations as well with people here on stream, but also in general. It's like, it's not like we're not out there. It's not like we're not making any moves. We're there, but we're just not per se all connected. I mean, we were talking before going live that there's a lot of amazing things happening in the States, but if you look at it from a global level, not really, which is a bit of a shame. I see a question, by the way, that is interesting, that kind of ties into what you were talking about. I don't know from whom because it's anonymous, but and what makes those people unique and inspiring in the gaming industry? Why those specific people that you just mentioned? What is their unique capability? I mean, what makes Gordon, for example?
Gordon's an anomaly.
Yeah, he is.
But what makes Gordon is Gordon has opened doors for other people. Like I have a story with Gordon with my first E3. Gordon's like, you need to be at E3. We're going to put you on a panel. We're going to get you here. I'm going to show you who to, like, literally Gordon grabbed my arm and took me to E3. And I had my first Gordon there. Like, what makes these folks unique is that they're willing to put their hand out to yours and take you with them, or mention your name in rooms that you're not in. And I saw that someone said Xavier received an award. I don't know Xavier like that. You know what I mean? And so it makes me excited that, oh, it's Muriel. Is that Muriel?
Yeah. She's lost here as
well. But like, what so that's the thing. What makes someone the future? Is it because they're winning awards and they're paving a path for themselves, or is it because they're paving a path for other folks? Like, mm-hmm. That's something that I think is Kevin Brown. I know Kevin Brown's fire. I know Tony Barnes is doing a new game, like but I'm big on, are you just thinking about yourself? Or are you thinking about the future and who can come behind you? Are you creating opportunities for others other than yourself? Like, that's important to me, because you want to talk about like opening the door and you have to walk through it. Some people need a stepping stool to understand that the door is there and that they can go through it. And so understanding those things is yeah, I'm on a soapbox when it comes to people, because like I said, and if you know me, you know this before, is like, how are you giving back? And if everything that you're doing is just to self-serve, congratulations, you'll reach a level that and I believe you can reach all levels, but then you're going to be there by yourself, and that's not fun.
No. That's super interesting, though. Thank you for sharing that. That's good. That's good. But and indeed, I agree that if it's just self-serving, you only get so far. And that's one of the things that I really love what you guys are building with Big, is a platform to shine a light, but also to embrace legacy. For example, what you're doing with the Jerry Lawson award, that kind of stuff is amazing, super inspiring. But yeah, I have to give you credit for
that. The beauty of that is, like, even this year, we partnered with IGDAF. They have a Jerry Lawson award too, right? Like, they have their own.
I didn't know that. I didn't know
that. And so here we are, like, both during GDC doing an award. And then I thought it was a different Muriel. So Muriel got the award from them the year before. And I'm trying to think. Lisette got it this year. I'm trying to remember who got it last year, but like, she came to Big Fest and she came to some of our events, and so she told them, she was like, what are you doing? Like, what they're doing over there is amazing, and so literally Alyssa called me and she's like, we need a partner, like, whatever, we're both doing this award, why don't we do it together? And honestly, it's the best thing since sliced bread. We all came together, and Lisette got an award from IGDAF and from Big.
And that's great. But that's the thing. The power is in collaboration. It's to quote Gordon again. It's a team player. It's a team player effort. You can only get so far. Even if you're trying to create platforms that uplift others, you can only get so far by yourself. If you indeed collaborate, strengthen and amplify each other's work, it will only make it bigger and better. Question. It's a bit of a tough question, but since you've worked in both, like, the community as well as the institutional levels, if you're brutally honest, where is the industry still failing us today? Because I know you've done a lot of amazing things at your time at Niantic, but what can the industry do better?
That's a really good question. I think where the industry can do better is recognizing the genius in the folks that work for them, and not just seeing them as means to an end. And I also think when it comes to acknowledging the struggles of creating balanced teams, I think that the industry has been developing games in a bubble. And what I mean by that is, like, if I understand this because I've created before. I'm a co-founder of Mr. Augmented, which is an AR startup. And, like, we were all very passionate about, like, crypto and AR. And, like, so we were already in the same. Oh, Carl's here. Hey, Carl. We were already in the same, right? We were already in the same bubble. So when it came time to create or start something, we just took who was around us, right? But if your bubble is very much all yes people, or if your bubble is all folks who look the same, you're not creating a balanced team.
I agreed.
And so balanced teams also create opportunities to catch things before they go out in public. Because I may have grown up in, I was born in the South Bronx, but I was an Army brat, so we moved to California. Like, so my perspective is different than someone who was born in Houston, Texas, in the 5th Ward, right? Like, or someone who was born in Florida, in Miami, right? Like, so think about bringing those 3 perspectives together, and we're creating something. We're going to be more understanding of some of the hills or some of the challenges that we may have. So that's also something that I believe is a missed opportunity, because when we're thinking about creating things that are going to touch millions of lives, that balanced team could save us from missing out or even collecting more folks that are interested in our products.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And it's kind of linked to what Carl was also asking, the explaining servant-based leadership and how you learn it and how does it inform you, because I do think that is kind of what you're talking about here.
Why would you explain, what would you explain?
Would you explain servant-based leadership and how you learn it and how does it inform you?
So, fun fact is I had some really bad bosses in my career who were total trash. Like, I learned a lot from them, which is great. But like when I say, you know how when you're in a situation and it's like it could either break you or it can make you a better person if you have the right mindset around it. So like I had to learn that how I'm being treated, I don't want to treat others. And so I would say I learned my servant quote unquote based leadership from my relationship with God as a Christian. And like here's the ruler of the whole world, or this is my beliefs, right? Christ, and he's dying for me, like literally for me, like, but he is the source of all things. So it's like for me, it's like, how could you be so mindful of me when I don't deserve this? And so that heart behind that has created a heart within me that sees people, wants to empower people, like I watched a movie called Lucy, and there's one line in there that stuck with me. What is information if you don't share it? And like for me, information, having information and not being able to share it is one of the worst things in the world, because I have information that could help you be a better person, help you grow in your career, and I don't share it, that means that I'm actively a part of the blocker that's keeping you from growing. Now, granted, there's another flip coin. There's a scripture that says, don't cast pearls amongst swine. So like, I'm also very aware of like, if I'm giving out information and folks are just like pretending like it means nothing, then I'm also not going to share information to those folks, because I don't see them taking it on. I don't see them being thankful. I don't see them honoring it. Like, so that there's a balance there of being able to see like who's for you, who's not, and knowing who your tribe is. But like when it comes to this, the leadership that I embody, it's because I believe that we're here for a purpose and that we're called to utilize our genius to help others. Like, who does it hurt for me to create spaces for folks and that will empower them? It just makes me a better human. But then I also feel like in that same vein, it creates more of an awareness within me to be more accessible in rooms that I'm not, because now I'm surrounding myself with folks from all these different backgrounds who are gifted and anointed, and I'm learning from them. It's not a one-way street. Like, I'm literally in these spaces learning and growing because I don't know it all. So I recognize that. And because I recognize that, maybe that's why I take the approach that I do.
That's some food for thought. That's good though. I mean, wow. Yeah. I mean, talking about diversity here, like people in general, the discourse is a lot about diversity, but less about power. In your view, what actually needs to change structurally for real powership and ownership and leadership to happen for us? Because there is still a disconnect. Indeed, the information is one part. Sharing that information, making sure that you don't have an information vacuum. But other than that,
can you rephrase it so I understand it? Are you talking about power? What are you talking about?
So, what do you think actually needs to change structurally from a perspective of real ownership and leadership for leadership to happen? Because right now, indeed, you're saying sharing information, that's good, and we don't know who's coming next. But how do we create that? How do we make sure that information keeps on being shared, but also that structural changes happen within corporate world so that we can embrace who's coming next and welcome them in? If that makes a little bit more sense.
It does.
Thank God.
There's a lot of folks who are in positions that have autonomy, who are able to make decisions that impact others. And I like to call them sometimes, so there's this senior level director, maybe VP. I call y'all the frozen chosen. And the reason why I call y'all the frozen chosen is because you're sandwiched between people who you can absolutely impact and help, but also leadership who's asking you to produce a certain result. And this goes back to a conversation we had previously before we went live about privilege. It is a privilege to be able to take a stand and say, I don't care what the end result is. I'm going to do what I believe is best for the environment and for the people who work for me. And so in this day and age, if we really want to see systemic change, there's actually policies that need to be changed. And that's bigger than one person. So there are folks in these streets that have the ability to push against the current walls that are in place for us and go beyond that in a way that is like, hey, this policy needs to be changed. I think that we should change the way we do our performance reviews. I think we should change the way that we do our performance improvement plans, whatever it is. But because a lot of times the frozen chosen is so stuck on meeting a bottom line or providing what the senior leadership wants, there are very few leaders in that space who can balance both and still lift as they climb, build up the people who are beneath them, who are not beneath them in like it's more right, who are more junior or up and coming, and say, here are the cheat codes to be successful here. But you have to also let them know, like, here is the cost to being successful here. And so a lot of people don't talk about the cost that it takes to grow up a ladder, like what you lose. I was talking to one of my friends who's a senior leader, and he's like, I love creating games. I love being in the nitty gritty of it, like diving into development. He's like, but as I go up the ladder, I lose my touch on actually building games. I am now administration. Now I'm working with the people who are building the games. And so that is something that you have, like, the cost, right? Like, it's a cost. Like, he no longer gets to develop games, and that's his passion. That's when he was 9, he said, I want to be a game developer. But now he's a VP. Now he's a senior leader. He's at the table making decisions that impact everybody, but at what cost? And so for those who are out there who have the ability to shift nations, the ability to shift these organizations, count the cost. It's not going to be easy. And you may have to sacrifice some things. And so that's where I think the balance of understanding that while we're in these streets and we're building up things that we love doing, if we want to have a broader reach, there will be a cost and a sacrifice to it.
What do you think that cost and sacrifice is? Or really, what was it for you?
For me, I left Niantic and started my own company, which I became an entrepreneur and consulting. And the cost was the grind. Like, it's really nice getting paid 7 figures. It's really nice having paid vacation, benefits. Like, and I'm not saying this is everybody's cost. So I'm saying for me, I left because I was like, I want to reach more folks. I want to be able to consult multiple businesses. I want to be able to sit down with multiple CEOs, not just my one CEO who I absolutely loved and adored. It was really a tough decision for me to make. And so the entrepreneurial grind is not for the weak. It is not for the weak. Like, but the cool fact is, like, I'm talking to you on a Monday at 2 o'clock my time. You know what I mean? Like, because I determine my schedule. I determine when I move and when I don't. Like, and so after this call, I can go hang out with my husband. We can go chill and go for a walk or go to the gym. Like, I have that ability, but I also grind late nights. I'm usually up in the early mornings. But it's a cost to something that I love and I desire. And I feel like I'm able to create a space for other people because of that passion and that desire to see this change. I want to change policies, procedures, and regulations. I'm not just talking about like nice to haves. Like there are things that need to be changed at the government level in order to see a shift in our corporate America. But I also don't think everybody's called to be an entrepreneur. So that's also something that I'm aware of, and I'm never going to push on someone else.
What was, I mean, if you still remember, like the exact moment that you decided Niantic is not the place, I need to do something for myself? What was that moment?
Okay, I know this very clearly because you're all probably going to be like, what is wrong with Trinidad? It's when they wanted me to come back to the office during COVID. I was like, hell no. Like, I'm not coming back. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it doesn't, like, we went from, we'll see you in 2 weeks to, you know, we're probably going to work remotely indefinitely to everybody needs to take a shot and come back to work in 2 weeks to, like, it was so imbalanced and so wishy-washy. And I was just like, this is my life y'all are talking about. Like, so when I was able to, it was a privilege, but I had to make a decision and say, you know what are my options? Do I want to stay here, or do I want to create something that is safe for me?
I mean, especially having a 7-figure salary. I mean, that must have been an interesting conversation with your husband. I mean, I was like supportive, like all in, let's go.
I wasn't married at the time. Okay. I was really just free in these streets and just
you could do whatever
I wanted to do. My conversation was with my parents, and they're just like, what is wrong with you? But I also knew I had a credibility in the industry. I knew the folks that knew the work that I did, and I literally, my first contract was Unity after Niantic. So
with Ray Graham, yep.
Yeah, he was there, and MK was there. MK is still there, I think. I'm trying to think of Neil, who is a game developer. He was there. Oh man, so many great people. So it's like, so to see that the world that I was living in was not, and the environments that I was in was not in alignment with my core values, I had to take a choice. Again, I know the choice that I took is a privilege. Like, some people don't have that privilege. I was willing to like literally eat eggs and water for like the next year if I had to. Like, I was just gonna be like, I got my protein, I got my water, let's go. Like, you know, like,
exactly.
And let's do this, let's build this. And Unity was a great opportunity, and I thank God for it. But even after Unity, I had to take a break because I realized like this industry was just wearing and tearing on me. Like, I was like, why am I so tired? Why am I so fatigued? And I didn't realize that I was taking in all these things that were happening and had no outlet of being able to release it. And so that's actually when I met my husband, is in that middle time.
Interesting. And then you move towards being the founder of Black in Gaming.
Not the founder of Black in Gaming. Carl and Dennis Matthews are the co-founders of not of Black in Gaming, of Black in Gaming Awards. Black in Gaming was founded by folks 20 years ago. Like, and it was at a GDC. Yeah, it was a group of folks. And whoever's in the chat, if you know all the folks, I believe Kevin Brown was there, Lisette Montgomery, maybe a Sarah Bond. I'm trying to think. I don't remember all the folks, but if someone is in the chat, you can put all the folks because you know the history. I know Carl's in the chat, so he'll say something. With Big Fest, particularly where that was built from, was one year we submitted a bunch of talks to GDC and none of them got accepted.
Interesting.
And so what we did was we created our own for us guys across the street, and it was phenomenal. We had micro talks, we had indie devs, and let me just tell you, when you create something from a pure heart and to create for your people, it's going to send wavelengths. It's going to put stuff out there.
It will resonate.
So literally, I don't think it's, and Call it what you want, but I don't think it's a coincidence that GDC is now GDC Festival. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that they're taking more focus on indie devs. Like, literally, we were doing that across. Nicole Brown, yes. Yeah, I knew Carl would come out with it.
So if you would have to like give like the elevator pitch for Big Fest, for people watching that might not know, what is Big Fest?
Big Fest is a space that we created for us so that folks who are doing phenomenal work in the industry, who come from the African diaspora, like, are able to showcase it in a forum that was created for us. So it's very much a space where we honor the gifts that they have and what they have to say, because the folks who are speaking on panels have done the work. The folks who are showcasing their games have done the work. They're showing you what they've created, but it's a safe place also to fail. Big is a safe place to fail. If you are in our community and you want to showcase something, you want to show something, it's okay to fail, but let's fail fast. Let's find a way to like utilize our community efforts to build something collectively and show you, okay, well, maybe this can grow. One thing that Aria focused on Big Fest this year was like, she's like, a lot of indie devs, and I'll let her say this on her own, but a lot of indie devs are so in the weeds of development and so in the depths of like focusing on developing their game that they don't necessarily think about marketing. They don't think about like how I'm gonna, like, when you go to a lot of these showcases, it's like them and a laptop play my game. Like, they don't think like, let me show my banner. Let me get some plushies, or let me get some pins, or, you know. And so she created that for them. So this year at Big Fest, like, they didn't have to create their banner. Like, we paid for the banners and we put it there. You know what I mean? And they were able to show, like, it was set up for success, so that when folks come in, they see your sign and they're like, oh, I see your artwork, you know, and they were able to know like kind of like the gist of the game. But that was her idea, because she's an artist herself, and she also knows like some of the gaps that are in that space. Not everybody understands marketing, not everybody understands social media, not everybody understands how to like position yourself so that folks are drawn. You know, artists are really good at that. If you've ever gone to like an artist alley at like a con, they just have all the things. It's like
I love it. Yes,
they'll have like,
you can feel the creativity.
Yes, they'll have like lights hanging.
Yes,
like special fixtures. You know, all these different things. And it's like, I'm like, whoa! But you go to an indie dev panel, and you're like, laptop, black cloth, nothing. Like, it's like, bro, get with the program. Like, we want to be enticed to play your game. So I think that that's something that was just a really good touch this year that was different than most, because the first 2 years I know nothing, and Jonathan Jennings helped me with like the indie devs, and I was just like, let's just create a space for them. So like, you know, it was very much like, you know, no backdrops, no nothing. It was just like them in the game, because I was just like, let's start from somewhere. So every year we're just growing and leveling up.
It's super cool to see. I really love the art direction that you guys took this year. It looked so cool. And the banners that you're talking about, they bring the games to life. I mean, you know, it's indeed, not everybody is a marketer, not everybody is a communication specialist. These guys are amazing in creating amazing indie games, and to have people like yourself or Aria to then help uplift that, it's great. It's great.
Yeah, we had one of our volunteers from our Discord created along with Aria the pixel art, like by hand. Like, this is like, and I know that's not easy. I've learned. I didn't know that before. You know, I'm like, everything prior to that, it was me and Canva, bro. Like, I'm literally just trying to create something so that it looks like decent. So just to be able to see what our community can do, and then also I want to put it out there that, like, you know, some of these folks are still looking for jobs, you know, and so I think we have a huge resource for any company that is looking for phenomenal talent. And that's another thing that I think we just put out there, we make available with our partners, is like, hey, if there's anything that you need, like, let's start with our community first.
That's where you need to start. The community is the backbone of everything you do, right? Without the community, it's just you.
Yes.
Which, I mean, it's also fun, but you know.
And I know that there's an OG in the chat, William. Do you know William Pitts?
I do know Will Pitts, yes.
So,
and then shout out to Will Ware.
Shout out to Will for like having the idea, and that's what I'm saying. Like having folks who've been in the industry for as long as they have, like he's someone who absolutely pours back, shows up. And what's crazy is like one of our advisors, his name is John King. He's at Netflix Games now, but prior he was at Niantic. That's where I met him, and he helped me along with John King and Kelly Santiago and a few other folks when we built the Black Developer Initiative within Niantic. Like whenever he comes around, I just say, John, can you go to the indie devs? They don't need to know who you are and where you work and your history, but can you go and just give them advice? Like, because you know what makes a good game, like you know the ins and outs. And so this is what I asked of like the senior folks that I know, like when they come around. Like one year we went to Game Devs of Color. We brought like Daphne she's the one who I believe was involved in creating our Black avatars in Pokemon Go. Like, and so we brought her with us to Game Devs of Color. We also brought a senior producer with us. And he was like, Trin, what do you want? White guy. He's like, Trin, what do you want me to do? I said, I want you to go to every single indie dev in this place. And I want you to play their game. And I want you to give them some solid feedback. Like literally, that's all I want you to do here is be of service, be a servant, right? Like, you know, go in there and serve them. And Daphne did a talk. It was me and other folks. We had a table. But like, it's stuff like that literally is, it doesn't take you much because it's already your genius, right? So if I have some senior leaders come into Big Fest, I want you to go into these spaces and give feedback. I want you to go into these spaces and share love and show them what they're doing good, you know, what they need to do more of, and what are areas of growth.
I mean, we have to give you your flowers for creating these spaces, because without that, you know, there would be nothing. I mean, there would be less. And the fact that you're bringing these external people in, and not just to take a few pictures and put it into a marketing report so they look like they know what diversity is, but no, actually use their expertise, leverage their expertise, ask them to provide feedback and share, and through that uplift or inspire or educate or whatever. It's great.
Well, thank you for that. And I of course, because you've met me before, you know that I'm going to keep it moving. Like there's more like I am not here by my own, like by myself. Like if it wasn't for A16Z CLF Fund, we wouldn't have a Big Fest this year. If it wasn't for Twitch and Discord and these are folks that are in the ERGs that are like saying we want to spend our ERG budget this quarter for Big Fest. Like this is Aria calling people, reaching out to people, like calling, you know, having one-on-ones with me and saying, hey, would you be interested in sponsoring our food for the event? By the way, the food was fire. That was all her, not me. Like, and I think, Aria, you could put in the chat who paid for it this year. I think it was Twitch. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Like all these folks, literally, it took a village. And it took also people who are working in these corporate places to say, we want to put our funds towards this because this matters to us.
I mean, it's a powerful platform that you guys created. There is a question from Anonymous. One of the other issues that I believe is another blocker is that people do not know the roles and opportunities in this industry. Therefore, where are the entry points? And can someone flip this into this industry mid-career? Or do you always have to be in a particular location to get into this industry?
Those are three great questions.
Yeah, a few questions.
I'll start with the last one. In the past, like a lot of folks were like, you have to live in either LA, the Bay Area. Like there's certain parts like that you needed to live in to get into the industry. I think with COVID, there are a little bit more of like hybrid roles, some remote roles, but I do still think that there are hot spots. But as we continue to build, like, you know, Ubisoft, y'all are in Paris, And you have some spots in the Bay Area and some other places, but I also feel like right now with the way that the world is going, some people are leaving the US. And so that's something just to consider when it comes to opportunities and roles in the industry. I can't continue to stress that we have every role in the industry. Like any corporate company that is tech, like has to have the administrative side and the development side. And so we may over index because we have more creatives, but we still need lawyers. We still need HR folks. We still need folks who work in finance. We still need so I just don't think people don't necessarily remember those things, not in a negative way, but like if you're working in finance and you want to work in finance and gaming, I'm pretty sure there's an opportunity there, right? Like I think sometimes we do want to, recruiters tend to lean towards folks who have the gaming experience, but in this day and age, with the tools that we have, like they're looking at like, I need to fill this finance role, I need to fill this HR role. Now, when it comes to development, back in the day, we used to be able to say like QA is the way, like start with QA and you can get into any game industry job. Well, now we have colleges that are teaching development. Now we have colleges that are teaching art and all those different things. And so I think that QA route is not as easy as it used to be. Now there's a list of folks who are graduating from college with a development degree looking to get in. And so it's not as easy as it may look. So I do think that, yes, Jonathan, IT roles as well. I do think that there are ways that you can gain experience outside of the industry with like game jams, with internships, different things that nature, who could possibly get you some things underneath your belt that will help you get more access. I also think networking is key. People underestimate networking and being able to show up at some of these places and get to know people.
Networking can also be scary, especially, it can be scary. It's like, I mean, you're super friendly, but I can understand that if I was be younger and I see someone with your profile, I'll be scared to talk to you because like, who am I? I mean, she's done all these amazing things and I'm just Leon from Amsterdam.
I'm super scary. I'm absolutely super scary if you show up to me and talk to me on the day of like Big Fest or the award show, I'm totally in another realm. So
of course you're going to be in the zone. That's all normal.
But outside of that, I'm available and my DMs are available. Like just reach out, but also don't waste my time. So like that's the one thing I'll say about networking is like if you're really interested, show up prepared. Show up with, and the way that I would say to show up prepared is do your remember, go back to when I was a missionary, do your research on who you're talking to, what they're passionate about, find ways that you're connected to them in some, because there's 1 degree of separation for everybody. I don't care what you say. Like you might be connected to me from my EMC days or my hospital days, because I used to work at MGH or Beth Israel Deaconess.
Wow.
So there's always some kind of connection. And and when you show up with like your pitch, take time to create your pitch. Nowadays with like with all these tools that you can like reword stuff and practice stuff, like, and join the community. That's the other thing. If you want to talk to me, join the Black in Gaming Discord, join Latinx in Gaming Discord, like get into the communities that I'm in and say, hey, I just joined. I'm interested in going deeper, learning, and and I connect you to people. But if you don't care about my community and you want to just take from me, I have an anti-grifter policy, and I could smell you a mile away, and I want no relationship, no interest.
I mean, look, we ain't got no time for grifters. I do want to I want to chime into that question as well, because I'm not in one of the hot zones. I was in Amsterdam, Dutch based. I think, and I'm also, and my goal was also never to get into gaming. There was an opportunity. I had a specific set of experience that the gaming industry needed, cultural bridges. And that's the thing. It's like, look at your own value that you bring to the table. and then you can create your own path into gaming, because there's more ways in than to be a game creator, programmer, content creator. No, I mean, I do events. I mean, I know people that have built careers in just doing communications. They don't know jack about creating a video game, but they can talk their butts off. So see your own value and see what you bring to that table. Anywho, that was my little blah blah.
So this is also where, like, you as doing events for Ubisoft, like, we have to talk. Like, I mean, I'm not going to, you know, I'm making my pitch on this live, but we have to talk about ways that we can learn from your genius and areas that we can grow in the events that we do. Like, we're a network now. We're family.
Exactly. I mean, any way I can help, I'm more than happy to help. I mean, that's what I'm here for. You know, we're here to uplift amazing people, uplift the Black voices in gaming, and through that get more representation, get more people to join, because it's a cool industry to work in. Especially because you can come as you are, make your own path, and all these kind of things.
Oh my gosh! When I first went into the office, like, someone was dressed as like Little Bo Peep, and like that's what she wore every day. Like, I was like, whoa, this is cool. Like, you know, you can literally dress however you want, cosplay to work. Okay, that's cool.
I mean, you know, I'm into hip hop. You know, if it's not obvious. I had a meeting once about E3 with our CEO, and I kind of forgot I was wearing an NWA t-shirt. And he asked, I mean, Eve, our CEO, is super, you know, he's interested in these kind of things. So he asked, what does that mean? It's like, it's, you know, it's a rap group that create cool music, and just kept it to that. But it's, at that time, I did really appreciate the fact that, you know, you can come as you are. I can wear a beanie at the office. I can, and the times that I have to wear a suit are zero.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's that. It's a super cool industry. So come join us, please. I like talking about legacy because it's important, you know, planning forward. And you're already doing amazing things with Big Fest now. Where will you be in 5 years? Where will you guys be in 10 years? What's the goal?
The goal is to see our folks sustained in this industry, really in work that they love, and that's either in the industry as someone who works at a AAA studio, AA, whatever A you're in. It could be creating your own game and being an entrepreneur. So the pillars at Big are entrepreneurship, education, content, and advocacy. And so, like, making sure that we're in alignment with those in those areas, and continually creating spaces for folks to continue to grow, develop, and succeed, and be empowered. So 10 years from now, I hope Big Fest is bigger than any con out there. I hope it's the place that it was created with the right heart. It's a place for not only Black folk, but folk that are from different backgrounds that are interested in showcasing their talent in a space that is safe, where they could fail, where they can grow. I also believe that we're going to continue to partner with dope organizations. I am big on, I am not going to recreate the wheel. And I also don't want to, like, if someone's doing such a great job at something, I'd rather push people to those folks that are doing great at what they're doing than try to create something in a space just to create it. And then that becomes my competition for what? For what reason? If you're doing an amazing job at empowering folks, like Wiggy does an amazing job at empowering women in gaming. My thing is, y'all need more Black women. So I'm gonna send more Black, like, be a part of Wiki. You know, if you have a game that's ready to port and publish, like, talk to James Lewis at ID at Xbox. Talk to Black voices in gaming, because they have great, like Sean and the folks over there have a great way of giving feedback to folks who are ready to put it out front facing. Like, if you don't stop at the different things that are available to you, that's just a miss. So what do we want to do at Black Gaming? We want to be a resource and also open doors for folks that are not necessarily at the level, and they need development in those areas. But also we want to bring the senior folks into the room, have a conversation with them and say what's next and what are we not doing for the generation to come. So these are things that are going to be continuing to happen, and we're going to do it with love, we're going to do it with empathy, we're going to do it with integrity, and we're going to focus on making sure that we make spaces that people can feel safe in and fail in and grow in and succeed in.
I think that's a mic drop moment. Thank you so much. I mean, I want to be respectful of your time, even though you can hang out and chill with your husband and, eat some more amazing kale salad or drink these amazing smoothies you were drinking. I saw you.
Yes, and that was all him. He makes sure I stay right.
No, but I would love to, carry on the conversation offline, because if I can help support, amplify the amazing work that you guys already do with Big in general or with Big Fest specifically, I'm here for it.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Are you going to Gamescom Latam?
When's that?
It's in end of April, beginning of May.
Don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I think Gamescom Germany, the original Gamescom, yes, I'll probably be there.
The original. Okay. Well, hopefully we'll see you there.
Yeah, I'll try to make it happen.
Okay.
Thank you very much for joining, Trinidad. Really appreciate it. And nice to get to know you. I've heard a lot about you. Never really spoke. You're everything people say you are, and more.
Thank you. And I just want to give a shout out to all the folks that are a part of Big, are the folks that don't know, but they're interested in knowing. Hit me up, hit us up. We are on LinkedIn. Black and Gaming is on LinkedIn. We're all on all the socials. Black and Gaming on all the socials. Thanks to the board for supporting me as a chair. Thanks to the volunteers for the blood, sweat, and tears that y'all put in to make sure that we can do what we're doing. And thanks to my husband and my family for the prayers and the covering over my life.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And for the people watching, thank you so much for tuning into another Black Game Pro Sessions. For any questions, feel free to reach out to Trinidad, but with purpose, and do come prepared. Know who you're talking to. And if you have any questions for me, you know where to find me. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another banger session. Starting April, we have sessions every week again. So yeah, it's going to be fun and busy and all these kind of things. Next guest coming up, we got Mustafa from Ubisoft. We got Lee from Blizzard. We got Dev Gamers TV. We got Tony Weaver Jr. So yeah, it's going to be a fun time.
Sounds like it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Thank you very much once again. And my name's Leon. And peace.